When you first get into a car and glance toward the driver's seat, you can often get a pretty good sense of the driver's skill level just by observing their posture and setup. Start by looking at the seating position. Whether the seat is adjusted higher or lower, moved forward or back, all affects the driver's line of sight and overall control. Many novice drivers tend to push the seat forward so they can better see the front of the car. If you see someone gripping the steering wheel closely, almost as if they're hugging it, that's often a sign of inexperience. By contrast, more experienced drivers typically adopt a relaxed, slightly reclined position, keeping a comfortable distance from the wheel. This posture reflects greater confidence, better vehicle control, and a solid grasp of driving fundamentals. Driving experience also plays a major role in how accurately someone perceives the size of the vehicle. According to studies, drivers with less than 1 year or even 1 to 3 years of experience tend to have a greater margin of error when judging the dimensions of their car, particularly the front overhang, the right side clearance, and the rear end distance. In other words, the less experience you have, the harder it is to accurately judge whether you'll scrape a curb or back into something. In addition, whether or not the driver reminds passengers to fasten their seat belts can also reveal their level of responsibility and awareness. These days, front seat passengers usually buckle up automatically. However, rear seat passengers often need a reminder, something that clearly separates more responsible drivers from the rest. According to data from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, IIHS, in the U.S., unbelted passengers not only put themselves at risk, they increase the chance of injury or death for other passengers by 40%. Even more alarming, if the passenger sitting directly behind the driver isn't wearing a seatbelt, the driver's risk of death increases by 137%. Just think about it. During a sudden stop or emergency braking, an unbelted rear passenger can be thrown forward like a projectile, slamming into the back of the driver's head. The result could be catastrophic. While passengers may not fully understand driving risks, it is the driver's responsibility to know this and to speak up. In some states and countries, failing to ensure rear seat passengers are buckled up is even against the law. Once the car is in motion, another way to assess the driver's skill is by observing how they handle the accelerator and brakes. Inexperienced drivers often struggle with judging speed and distance. When the vehicle ahead slows down, pulls over, or cruises at low speed, they may brake too softly or too late. These mistakes don't just increase the risk of accidents, they also make the ride noticeably uncomfortable for passengers. There's also an important balance between vehicle performance and comfort. Cars with strong acceleration and aggressive braking may perform well on paper, but they can feel rough or jerky in daily driving. On the other hand, cars with softer throttle response and weaker braking tend to offer better comfort. An unskilled driver who frequently slams the gas pedal and brakes hard causes the vehicle to lurch back and forth, making passengers feel like they're riding in a delivery truck, not a personal car. This kind of stop-and-go, jerky driving is a clear indicator of inexperience. In contrast, an experienced driver knows how to apply throttle and brakes with precision. They accelerate confidently when needed, but as the vehicle approaches cruising speed or comes to a stop, they gently ease off the pedal to create a smooth, controlled deceleration. This not only improves ride comfort, it shows control, awareness, and respect for passengers. The way a driver handles the brake and accelerator is also a key reflection of their defensive driving skills. On the road, it's inevitable that we'll encounter aggressive or careless behavior from other drivers. That's when a driver's ability to respond calmly and effectively is truly put to the test. Defensive driving revolves around two core principles. 1. Don't initiate a traffic accident yourself. 2. When others make mistakes, be alert, tolerant, and proactive enough to avoid getting caught in their mess. In defensive driving theory, two core skill sets are emphasized. 1. The ability to perceive danger. 2. The ability to make quick decisions and react accordingly. The second one is easy to grasp. It means responding swiftly and correctly when something unexpected happens. But the first, danger perception, is more nuanced. It's about anticipating risky behavior before it happens. Studies show that drivers with over 10 years of experience have more than twice the hazard perception ability of those with less than 4 years behind the wheel. That's because experienced drivers have encountered a wide variety of road conditions and unpredictable scenarios, which sharpens their instincts over time. For example, an experienced driver might 1. Begin slowing down before reaching a crosswalk. 2. Tap the brakes gently before entering a tight curve. 3. Check for merging vehicles well in advance at highway ramps. The earlier a driver detects potential danger, the better the chances of avoiding an accident altogether. In general, when riding in someone else's car, you can observe a few simple things to get a sense of their skill level. 1. How is their seating position and posture? 2. Do they remind rear passengers to buckle up? 3. How do they handle the accelerator and brakes? 4. How do they interact with other vehicles on the road? Usually, the more skilled and experienced a driver is, the less often they find themselves in emergency situations. And when they do, they're more likely to react calmly, decisively, and effectively. Many people have noticed something surprising. Riding in a car can actually feel more exhausting than driving, while it may seem counterintuitive. Since driving requires more attention and effort, the truth lies in how our muscles and brains respond differently to each role. So, why does riding feel more tiring than driving? 1. Muscle engagement works differently. When you're behind the wheel, your body is in sync with the road. For example, if you see an obstacle up ahead and prepare to brake, your body subconsciously engages the core muscles, braces for deceleration, and adjusts posture to compensate for the forward motion. Passengers, on the other hand, even those in the front seat, don't know exactly when braking will occur. Their muscles react only after their inner ear, via the vestibular system, detects a sudden change in motion or balance. This leads to more frequent and reactive micro-adjustments in posture and balance, which accumulate over time and contribute to muscle fatigue. 2. The brain lacks stimulating feedback while riding. Driving requires your constant attention and decision-making. From reacting to slow-moving traffic or merging vehicles to navigating lane changes or sudden stops, drivers are constantly analyzing road conditions, making decisions, and engaging in physical actions. This keeps the brain highly stimulated. Each driving maneuver, like accelerating, braking, or overtaking, provides immediate feedback, which triggers the release of chemicals like dopamine and adrenaline. These stimulate the nervous system, elevate heart rate, enhance circulation, and boost metabolism. As a result, more oxygen and nutrients reach the brain and muscles, helping to fight off fatigue. Ironically, many drivers don't feel tired until they stop driving. Once the car is cruising steadily, or when the destination is reached and the brain finally relaxes, the fatigue that was being held off comes rushing in all at once. Passengers, however, don't participate in the driving process. They don't make decisions or receive the same neurochemical feedback. Aside from chatting or occasionally giving directions, passengers experience relatively low levels of mental stimulation, making it easier for them to become mentally fatigued, even if their bodies haven't done much. This type of tiredness isn't caused by physical exertion, but rather by a lack of engagement, a kind of sensory boredom that slowly drains mental energy. Furthermore, the more people there are in a car, the faster passengers tend to feel fatigued. Research shows that the per capita PFR, perceived fatigue rate, a standardized measure of how tired passengers feel, increases by 118.625% when the car is fully occupied compared to when there's only one person in the vehicle. In simpler terms, when all 5 seats are taken, the fatigue level nearly doubles compared to riding alone. Most family sedans are divided into 3 spatial zones: the driver's seat, the front passenger seat, and the rear seat row. The driver's and front passenger seats each accommodate just one person, so their PFR values remain consistent regardless of how full the vehicle is. However, the rear row is more susceptible to passenger count. Crowded seating leads to more fatigue. Here are a few practical methods to help reduce fatigue while riding. 1. Use a seat cushion. When the vehicle accelerates or brakes, your body naturally adjusts to balance itself. This causes constant muscle tension and micro-adjustments, especially over long periods. A seat cushion can absorb some of these forces and reduce the frequency and intensity of those adjustments. For example, a basic 10mm sponge cushion can provide up to 42.91% impact absorption during sudden stops. The thicker the cushion and the higher the quality of its filling material, the better it is at reducing forward lean and softening muscle engagement, helping prevent fatigue over time. 2. Choose the right seat. In a standard 5-seater car, if there are fewer than 5 passengers, it's recommended to prioritize the front row, as it offers more individual space and comfort. If there are 4 people in the car, it's best to place those who are more prone to fatigue, such as elderly passengers or children, in the rear row, but allow them more room. The more space per person, the lower the PFR and the more comfortable the ride. If the car is completely full with 5 passengers and 3 people must share the back seat, the front passenger seat is generally more comfortable. In this case, it's better to let the elderly or children sit in the front, provided it's safe and legal. If a child seat is required, then place the child in the rear row with the appropriate safety setup and seat the elderly passenger in the front to maximize comfort for both. In the case of 7-seater vehicles, the third row seats typically offer the least amount of space, making them the least comfortable for long trips. The principle here is similar to 5-seater cars. If someone in the group is more tolerant of tight spaces or fatigue, they're usually the best candidate for the third row. Listening to music during the ride is another effective way to relieve fatigue. A study conducted by the University of London found that the right type of music can significantly lower a person's perceived fatigue rate, PFR. And it's important to note, right doesn't just mean music you personally like. While fast-paced tracks can indeed boost dopamine levels and make you feel more energetic, the most beneficial music, especially for long drives, is music with tempo that matches or is close to your resting heart rate. This type of music not only helps passengers feel more relaxed and less tired, but also prevents drivers from becoming overstimulated or unintentionally speeding up due to overly upbeat rhythms. The goal is to maintain a calm, focused atmosphere in the car, especially on longer trips.